Welcome to our deep dive. We're exploring the Arabic version of Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
You shared this excerpt, and I'm so curious about the financial wisdom we can uncover, especially, in the Arabic context.
It's fascinating to see how a global bestseller translates, into a culture where financial discussions are often approached a bit differently.
Absolutely. And right off the bat, this book is structured like a conversation between the author and his rich dad. So it contrasts with his poor dad's perspective.
Interesting.
And, it's not just about being wealthy. It's about two contrasting approaches to money and life.
Exactly.
And with the Arabic chapter titles like, The Rich Don't Work for Money, Why Teach Financial Literacy?
Okay.
It feels like a challenge to conventional thinking.
It is. What's really striking is how the book highlights financial literacy as a type of education that goes beyond traditional schooling.
Yeah, and this contrasting view of education, it really stood out to me too. The author starts by telling a story about his childhood in Hawaii, where he learns about money from his highly educated poor dad and then his self-made entrepreneur rich dad.
Makes sense.
Right. And his poor dad really emphasized good grades and a secure job.
A stable job.
Yeah, stable job.
Yeah.
Whereas rich dad was all about financial independence and building assets.
Interesting.
So it makes you wonder, does traditional education really even prepare us for financial success?
It's a good question, and I think it's one that a lot of people are grappling with, especially in the Arab world, where youth unemployment is a big problem.
Big issue.
Yeah. So it seems to be saying that financial success isn't always tied to traditional career paths.
Right, and that resonates with the rise in entrepreneurial spirit that we're seeing in so many Arab economies.
For sure.
So, building on that idea, Rich Dad makes some bold statements. The rich don't work for money. Fear of being different keeps most people in line. And most people are only one skill away from great wealth.
That's interesting.
Right. He even claims that the fear of losing money is more crippling than the excitement of making it.
That's thought-provoking.
These aren't your typical
advice.
Tips.
No, they really challenge our assumptions about money. And he wants us to overcome our fear and, embrace risk and innovation.
And that could be particularly empowering.
I think so.
For young Arabs navigating a rapidly changing economic landscape.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is making me think about the cultural aspects of financial security in the Arab world.
Yeah, that's important.
So how do you think that this message of risk-taking might be perceived, considering the emphasis on stability and family support?
Family,
That's so important.
Well, I think it's an important question.
Yeah.
And while risk-taking is encouraged, I think it's crucial to balance that with, cultural expectations.
Of course.
So I think the book's message could be interpreted as a call to be proactive and informed in managing your finances.
It's not just about taking the risk. It's about understanding it.
It's informed.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
It seems like Rich Dad, Poor Dad is about more than just getting rich. It's about shifting your mindset about money.
It really is.
So far, we've seen this contrast between Poor Dad's traditional path.
The more traditional path.
And then Rich Dad's entrepreneurial approach.
That's right.
But how does the book actually guide us towards a Rich Dad mindset?
Well, it gets into some practical advice about financial literacy, And this might be particularly insightful for you.
I'm interested.
So this includes understanding the difference between assets and liabilities, controlling your expenses, and developing your financial intelligence.
Okay, so this financial intelligence, that's really interesting to me.
So financial intelligence.
It's not just about having money. It's about understanding how money works and making informed decisions.
So that could be so empowering.
Yes.
For people in the Arab world, where, financial literacy initiatives are
totally
gaining so much momentum.
Absolutely.
Right.
Think about the growing interest in Islamic finance principles.
Yes.
Or, the rise of personal finance blogs tailored to Arabic-speaking audiences.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It does.
It's not just about adopting the rich dad philosophy wholesale.
Wholesale, no.
Right. It's about adapting it to your own context.
Absolutely.
Now, the book also seems to critique the traditional education system for not adequately preparing people for real-world finance. And that critique might resonate with you.
It might.
Considering the emphasis on traditional education in many Arab cultures.
It's so important.
So it's saying that schools don't always provide the practical knowledge needed to manage money effectively. Right. So they're left to seek financial education elsewhere. It seems like Rich Dad, Poor Dad is trying to fill that gap, offering this roadmap to financial literacy that goes beyond the conventional classroom.
Exactly, and encouraging readers to actively seek that financial education, learn from any mistakes, and develop a proactive approach to money management.
So we've seen how the book is setting the stage for challenging, traditional financial thinking and taking control of your own financial destiny.
Now let's dive deeper into one of its key tools for achieving that, the cash flow quadrant.
This is where it gets really fascinating.
I'm excited.
The cash flow quadrant, it basically categorizes people based on their primary income source. And it offers this unique perspective on how different paths can lead to financial freedom.
I'm interested to see.
I think you'll find this concept especially insightful as we explore its implications within the Arabic context. So it's basically like a map visually illustrating different paths to financial freedom. And it categorizes people into 4 quadrants. Employees, self-employed, business owners, and investors.
So can you break those down?
Sure.
A little bit more.
So the employee quadrant represents those who
trade their time for money. Working for someone else. And that might resonate with you, considering that traditional emphasis on secure jobs.
Yeah, for sure.
But the book kind of challenges this. It suggests that relying solely on employment may not be the most effective path to financial freedom.
That's a pretty bold statement.
It is.
Especially considering how much cultural value is placed on stable employment. But I'm curious to see where this is going. What about the other quadrants?
The self-employed quadrant represents individuals who are their own bosses. But they still heavily rely on their own efforts.
So
think about the skilled artisans, freelancers, consultants. This is prevalent in the Arab world.
For sure.
While this does offer more autonomy, it still ties income to that individual effort, limiting scalability.
So it seems like Rich Dad, Poor Dad is pushing us towards the right side of this quadrant.
The right side,
away from employees or self-employed.
It wants you to think bigger.
Would that be a fair assessment?
The book definitely encourages readers to consider the advantages of building businesses and investing. So the business owner quadrant represents those who create systems and leverage other people's time to generate that income.
And that aligns with this entrepreneurial spirit we've been talking about.
Let's see it.
With the rise of tech startups and all these innovative businesses, that makes sense. It seems like building a business that can generate income, even without your direct involvement, is a much more sustainable path to financial freedom.
Exactly.
What about the final quadrant, the investors?
The investor quadrant represents those who make their money work for them through assets.
Okay.
Like stocks, real estate, or businesses.
Okay.
This is where the book really emphasizes the importance of understanding financial markets.
Right.
And making informed decisions.
And this totally resonates.
It does.
With the growing interest in investment opportunities in the Arab world.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's interesting to see how from real estate in burgeoning cities to stock markets across the region, there's this shift towards diversifying income through investment.
Absolutely. And the book seems to align with that.
The book encourages it.
It encourages that.
Yeah, I want you to move beyond traditional saving and explore different avenues.
Right. So it's not just about...
It's not just about earning.
Yeah. It's about understanding.
It's about making it work for you.
How to make it work for you.
Yeah.
It's like a whole
different...
partly different way.
Of thinking about wealth.
About wealth.
And this is where the book's emphasis on financial intelligence.
Yeah. Financial intelligence is key.
Is so important.
It's not just about being in that investor quadrant.
Right.
You need to have the knowledge and skills to make it work.
To navigate it.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of another Arabic chapter title.
Okay.
Overcoming Obstacles.
Right.
What are some of the common barriers?
The book identifies several obstacles.
Okay.
Fear. Cynicism.
Yeah.
Laziness. Bad habits.
Yeah.
Arrogance.
Right.
And these can hinder...
They can hold you back. Financial progress and fear of failure can be especially potent in cultures where financial security is tied to family reputation.
Absolutely. That's such an important point.
It is.
So how does the book suggest overcome...
It emphasizes the importance of developing your financial intelligence.
Okay.
Overcoming those fears. And taking control of your financial destiny.
And, you know, especially in a cultural context where financial decisions often involve family expectations and societal pressures.
Yeah, for sure.
How do we navigate that?
So it really encourages you to seek out financial education. Learn from your mistakes. Surround yourself with positive and supportive people.
It seems like the book is advocating for this total mindset shift.
It really is.
When it comes to money.
Yeah.
Not just individually, but culturally.
Culturally, too. It's not just about bringing in the money.
Right. It's about managing it responsibly. Yeah.
So, rich dad, poor dad.
He wants you to develop that rich dad mindset.
The rich dad mindset.
Yeah. Thinking long term.
Okay.
Focusing on building those assets and always seeking opportunities to increase your financial intelligence.
But how do we
actually
do that? The book gives a framework for developing that mindset, but it's really up to you to apply it within your own context.
Yeah.
It encourages you to be proactive rather than reactive.
With your finances.
Yeah, take calculated risks.
Right.
Rather than
playing it safe. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's about empowering yourself with knowledge.
Knowledge is power.
Right. And then making those informed decisions.
Exactly.
But what about the specific challenges of the Arabic context?
Yes.
Does the book address those?
Well, it's not explicitly tailored to every cultural nuance. Those core principles are applicable globally. It encourages you to analyze your situation, set those clear goals, and create a personalized financial plan.
So it's about adapting the rich dad, poor dad philosophy.
Yeah, adapting it
to your own life.
Yeah, whether you're in the heart of Dubai.
Exactly. Or a small village.
A small village in Morocco.
It doesn't matter.
It's about, you know,
be conscious
of your choices and proactively managing your finances.
Regardless of cultural background. It doesn't matter.
Or income source.
Exactly.
And speaking of cultural background, I'm curious about the cultural implications of this book.
What's interesting is
getting translated into Arabic.
It opens up this dialogue about money and wealth within a cultural context where these topics are often considered taboo or approached with this sense of fatalism.
I see that.
So the message of personal empowerment and financial independence can be very powerful in societies where traditional structures and social norms might limit individual agency.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to see how these universal financial principles are interpreted and applied within different cultural frameworks. This deep dive has challenged some of my assumptions.
It's good to challenge assumptions.
About money and wealth creation.
It is financial literacy.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
It is.
It's not a destination.
Yeah.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad offers a roadmap.
Right.
But it's up to each individual to navigate their path.
Their own path.
To financial freedom.
Yeah.
And that requires constant learning, adaptation, and a willingness to challenge conventional thinking.
Yeah. It's giving us the framework for thinking about money differently.
That's right.
But it's up to us to apply that to our own lives. Yeah. And this deep dive has really guided the importance
financial literacy.
Of financial literacy.
Yeah.
Not just as
a skill set.
A set of skills, but as a way of thinking.
That empowers us to take control.
Take control of our financial futures.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
It seems like this book is all about understanding how money works.
Yeah.
Not just
about
having a lot of it.
But about
it's about
taking control.
Yeah, taking control
of your financial destiny.
Exactly.
And it really challenges us to think differently about money.
Absolutely.
Especially in the Arab world.
Yeah. And what's interesting is how the book emphasizes entrepreneurship and investing as potential avenues to wealth creation.
Right.
And in the Arabic-speaking world, where youth unemployment is such a big deal.
Huge problem.
That could be especially relevant.
It's like, it's saying that, financial success
doesn't have to be
only tied to traditional career paths.
That traditional path.
Which is especially important in such a rapidly
changing economy.
So Rich Dad, Poor Dad highlights the importance of developing your financial skills and seeking those opportunities beyond the job market.
Beyond that traditional job market.
Exactly.
And this could be
empowering.
So empowering.
Yeah.
For young people in the Arab world looking for new ways to build wealth and secure their futures.
Yeah. And it's not just
about
the young people.
Right. The book criticizes that traditional education system, saying that schools don't really prepare students with practical financial knowledge, which leaves so many people unprepared
for the reality of managing money
in the real world.
Yeah. And that's something that resonates across cultures.
It does.
People feel that the system prioritizes academic knowledge over practical skills.
Practical financial skill.
Yeah. And those are absolutely essential for navigating
complexities
of personal finance in today's world.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad aims to
fill that gap,
address that
gap,
provide readers with the tools and perspectives, become financially literate. Yeah.
Make those decisions.
Yeah, informed decisions
about their money.
And the Arabic translation can be seen as this call to action for individuals and societies to prioritize
financial education
for
future generations.
Yeah, to give them the knowledge
and the skills
to achieve financial well-being.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you?
We've taken this deep dive.
Yeah.
We've looked
into these core principles.
The core principle
of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, presented in
an Arabic version. And it's a call to action. It's urging us to challenge that conventional wisdom. About money.
Yeah, develop your
financial intelligence. And consider
alternative paths
to building wealth.
To wealth creation.
Especially within the context.
The unique context.
Of the Arab world. I hope this has sparked
curiosity.
It sparked your curiosity.
It inspired you. To think differently about your relationship with money.
To think about money differently.
Remember that the journey towards financial freedom
it's a journey.
Begins with a single step.
Yeah.
a commitment to learning.
A commitment to learning.
And a willingness to challenge
Absolutely.
your own assumptions.
Yeah, challenge your assumptions.